It's review time.
What?
Jigsaw. Jigsaw is the seventh installment in the Saw franchise that brings us once again horror and mind teasers that makes you want to figure out what's happening inside the movies. I am a true fan of this series because it makes me go to bed still thinking about the movie versus me forgetting about it. Basically, what I'm saying is this movie is not disposable in any way, shape, or form. Another big reason why I'm a fan of this series is because 95% of the situations that Jigsaw put these victims in, the victims make it worse for themselves. And it's kind of interesting to me every time I watch these movies because I go by a saying in life. The saying that I go by is there is no worse hell than the hell that you put yourself in. And I take kind of, pride that my saying pertains to one of the greatest series of films of all time. I mean, think about it. Look back to the first Saw. In the first Saw, there was a guy that was chained in a bathtub. The whole time while he was chained, he could have been freed himself because the key was inside the bathtub the whole time. Like, Jigsaw tests you and tests your will to think and actually to analyze the situation, and also makes you realize, even though it's too late, but still makes you realize that your choices will ultimately lead to your downfall. All you have to do is follow the rules. Like Jigsaw says all the time, just follow the rules. And that concept is definitely kept inside this movie Jigsaw in more gruesome and horrific ways. This movie is definitely one of the more confusing ones in the franchise because there's a time loop in this movie. Like in this movie, you would think that something is happening right now or literally just happened, but it didn't. So it confuses you and you get lost sometimes, but it makes sense towards the end, which is why I love this movie because it's not a straightforward movie. None of the Jigsaw movies is a straightforward movie, but this time loop that they have in this movie is interesting, and I think this has not been in any of the previous Saws, if I'm not mistaken. The whole plot of this movie is based on the assumption that John Kramer, aka Jigsaw, has come back from the dead. And the detectives and the doctors are trying to figure out where the game is being played now. There are random moments throughout this film where Jigsaw sends out torn up and deformed bodies to the detectives and the doctors to find. And they're in places that you wouldn't expect, so it kind of freaks you out. Oh, okay, so Jigsaw has to be having help like he's had in the previous films. In the previous films, he's always had help. Like some devoted follower or whatever has always helped him because there's no way John Kramer, the old man that he is, if he has especially come back from the dead, being the old man that he is able to manually by himself put these bodies in these random places for the detectives and the doctors to find. He has to have help, right? If I had to name one problem that I had with the movie, it was that the person that you discover at the end that was the accomplice for Jigsaw, I already pointed it out. It was just obvious for me, and I'm pretty sure that if you are going to see the movie or if you already have seen the movie, I'm pretty sure it was obvious for most of you too because it really wasn't that complicated to figure out. That's the only problem I have with the movie. And I also figure out why this movie was called Jigsaw instead of Saw 7. The movie was called Jigsaw because in some respects this is an origin story. You see brief images and brief viewings of the workings of the first game that Jigsaw has ever set up. And also, you see torture devices that were never in Saw 1 through 6. And let me tell you, the torture device that you see in this movie that wasn't in 1 through 6, I'm telling you, you haven't seen nothing yet. You talk about gruesome, this is the most gruesome and the most original and the most unique torture device I have ever seen. You have not seen how deep the sick mind of John Kramer, aka Jigsaw, can go. Thank you guys for watching my review on Jigsaw. The link for the trailer will be in the description down below. And if you're new and like what you've seen, please make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon for notifications on my latest videos. And for all of you watching, please make sure you keep moving forward.